Hey, Scary Monster. You know I love the Scary Monsters, right? The magazine for Monster Kids by Monster Kids comes out every season, kind of like Fango, but I mean this has been around forever. They really do a great job on this. It's something I don't think I've mentioned before. The way they balance like the sort of fanzine nature of it, the interactive nature. Like I said, all the stuff provided is by people who are just regular people, fans, right? The way they balance it, where it's not too slick looking, it's not too professional, but it's professional looking in a cool way enough. Still, the way they balance it really is really cool. It really is cool. And what's the theme? Well, there's always a theme. Right? The theme here is controversial, not to me, but horror comedies. Right now, remember, the whole idea of horror comedies. Got so many great films in that genre. Fearless Vampire Killers, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Evil Dead 2, I would argue. Right? And the whole key of what is the key of a horror comedy? Shaun of the Dead. The comedy comes from the reactions and the way the people respond to the threat. The threat is as real as anything else. In Dawn of the Dead, when they're throwing pies in the face of the zombies, it is kind of funny, right? And for a second, you never think that the zombies are funny. They're gonna tear you up and eat you. So that's really the whole theme of it. So I'm gonna go through here. I like this too. There's an article. It shows that they allow diversity of opinion because there's liberal stuff that gets in here, whatever that means now. But I like someone here talking about called Haxon Witchcraft of the Ages, which is a great film. It's a very anti-Catholic film from a Nordic type, a Sweden. So it's kind of like, hey, you have you seem to have an axe to grind. So even their pagans seem to be very Protestant, right, Varg? Oh no, Varg's mad. Come on, I love you. The film, he talks about, I like how the person basically goes how the witch hunts have then, towards the present day, right? We have the modern medical practices. The church atrocities are replaced with the religion of science and psychiatry. In this house, we believe in science. Well, how ironic given today's COVID hysteria. I said it. That's right. Of finger pointing, medical tyranny, masking, confining, imprisoning, threatening, ruining people's lives and livelihoods, practically burning anyone at the stake who questions the priests of the Church of Science. The fact that they let this letter get through shows you, and I've seen this before, man. They're on our side, man. At least as much as normie monster kids can be, but love that. So we'll go through here. Okay, this longtime reader. This guy was from Staten Island, Castleton Corners. Wow, nice area. Lived down a couple of exits down from where my dad is actually. He was a writer. Interesting. He was a lifelong Staten Islander. He's not part of the Italian diaspora that came in the '90s in Staten Island, where the native Staten Island Italians really weren't fans of the Brooklyn refugees like my dad. Yeah, enough for that. He wrote jokes too. Interesting. He was a writer. All right, his humor: Andy Kaufman, Richard Lewis. Remember Richard Lewis? Larry David. Okay, well, I mean, it is New York, right? He wrote jokes. Joan Rivers used to tell him, "Listen, I don't give a damn, man. Joan Rivers is still freaking hilarious, man. She was funny. I'll say that. With all I know now, I don't care about that. So you know how that goes. I decide who is a comedian, who is good, and who is not. Do you understand? So I think over some things. Cracked Now I was a crack dude, right? I remember back in the day, you had Mad magazine, but Cracked was sort of like a competitor, right? And then they had Marvel had their own. What was it called? Crazy, with that mean clown with the. I remember I didn't like it. I thought it was too mean spirited. Cracked was my favorite, and also I realize now that the artist on there was John Severin, pretty much at the top of his game, detail wise. I had no idea of the guy's work from decades before. So apparently they made a monster magazine for monsters only. I don't think I ever saw this. Of course, in the humorous vein of it, sort of like, I think I had gone over this, where there was like famous monsters of filmlands, puns. Everyone made something like this. Cracked made this. I showed you the Charlton, horror monsters that they did. It's the old thing. It's the old vaudeville, right? You keep throwing things at the wall, keep throwing jokes out there, you see what sticks. So, and they're going real deep. They're going to Whitestone. lunatical. Like they really tried to do the Mad, like when Mad was big, getting around the code because it's a black and white humor magazine, local. You know, it's just interesting. So they dedicated to that guy who passed away. So drag cartoons. That's right. Remember when drag meant like racing? Remember like Puerto Ricans and Italians like doing an impromptu race down the conduit, and like side swiping a friggin' station wagon and killing some people. Remember when drag went that? So okay, now all right, careful. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm scared. I'm gonna be careful. Now the whole thing, right? I'm gonna be honest. In the old films, like you always had the black character, like the butler or the chauffeur, or like someone unloading stuff, and they're always like in the spooky house. They'd always be like, "Whoa!" Like bug eye, like, "Oh, there's something crazy in this house. I'm gonna get out of here." I always joke too because if anything, it shows their sense, which is to get the hell out of there, right? But they're basically going over these people, right? Wide-eyed terror. I mean, all the movies did that. So they go over these two guys here. Very interesting. One guy was younger. We used to see that. What's interesting too is right. This looks for Mummy's Boys, right? This looks cool. I like. I'm all about the Egyptian mummy stuff. He was $6 billion. Mummy's Boys, the once popular comedy team of Burt Wheeler and Robert Woolsey. I'm the guy that heard of like stuff that a lot of people haven't heard of. I never heard of these dudes. Let's see. His name's Catfish. A line of dialogue refers. I feel so ashamed. I'm so ashamed. I think this is class. I don't give a damn. Now go in there and see if everything is all right. I ain't going in there. Like, fuck you. I ain't going in there. Shit, you go in there, white man. It's too dark. There might be ghosts. Well, what about it? They couldn't see you in the dark. Now go in. Oh, I'm so fucking. Oh, he's fucking. Oh, we must atone. We must atone for all this. Using King of the Zombies. I have that on a DVD, like with free stuff. I never seen it. Apparently, like this is hilarious. To see here where he's been zombified, but not really. And look at this dialogue. Move over, boys. I'm one of the gang now. It's straight to the writer of this. He says, "Oh, they're not using proper grammar." Hello, you racist? Hello, like, what do you mean they're not using proper grammar? That's how people speak. Hello, they will speak the way they want to speak. Oh, Bob Hope. Oh, I gotta tell you, dude, Bob Hope is like almost. When I was a kid, man, everyone knew Bob Hope. He was still alive, right? He lived a long time. Bob Hope movies were always on television, right? Bob Hope is like forgotten. Nobody talks about Bob Hope. So, Ghost Breakers, right? And this guy, one of the actors, was in here, really bust. And look at this great dialogue. I like this. And they're both scared. He's the whole idea of the straight man. He was always a goofball, right? You stay there, and if a couple of fellas come running down the stairs in a few minutes, let the first one go. That'll be me. Somebody passes you, that'll be me. Suddenly lightning knocks out the power. Alex, where are you? Right next to you, boss. Oh, you look like a blackout in the black. You look like a blackout in the blackout. If these keeps up, I'm gonna have to paint you white. It's terrible. Oh God. All right. It's funny. I like, and it keeps mentioning his grammar needs a little work. Do you know what accents are? Do you know what colloquial is? Oh boy, here we go. Colloquial. Oh boy. All right, so you know what? Maybe you're right. So, and just go through here. Now, the ironic thing in the end, right, is in the 50s, civil rights organizations, the NAACP, right, who were apparently the people that founded it. They didn't look like these guys. As Marcus Garvey, a nationalist, duly noted. Now, I won't go any further. A campaign against the demeaning portrayal of black people in the films. Among those virtually blacklisted were Willie Best and Manton Moreland. Right. So, in the end, like, thank you. Now we got no work. Now, you can say, well, that's what they should get for betraying their thing. Well, whatever, man. was it supposedly there were Three Stooges. They were gonna have this guy be the candidate. When Shemp died, there was gonna be the third Stooge would have been this dude. Oh, I would have liked that. Okay, especially when you look at Joe Besser, man. Fuck Joe Besser. I hate Joe Besser. Everybody hates Joe Besser, and in the end, remember Joe Besser. He was like, "Oh, my contract says you can't hit me and do all those things to me." Like so. These guys became the butt of the joke more and more as near the end of their career. I hated that. He was an uncle on the Cosby Show. Oh, look at that. Yeah, woman, I used to stay home for work just to keep from kissing you goodbye. Oh, great dialogue, man. You know what? Like I said, man, the way it's looked at, we all know what this stuff is for, right? It's not. It's in order to do things to use narratives of control for now. We all know that, and it kind of loses the whole comedic value of the thing. Oh, they're making fun. Oh, listen, man, I'm half Italian and half German. I fucking said it. So in all these movies growing up, my mother's people, and my mother's people were all the villains, or if they were goofy. The only guy making them look funny in a way that wasn't demeaning was Mel Brooks, ironically, right? And Italians, forget it, fucking gangsters, the old films, they were the fruit peddlers, the Bowery Boys used to fight with, so come on, enough already. You gotta stop. Speaking of going the other way here, okay, dude, remember Paul Bartel, remember Mary Warnoff, right? Eating Raoul. I never saw this film. And but like like Paul Bartel was funny. Mary Warnoff. Now that's an example. Like when you see her, like obviously in she was younger. She's a model. She was one of the Chelsea girls with Warhol. Beautiful woman. Silent Night, right? Silent Night, Bloody Night. She's a very serious film. She's fucking beautiful. But you know her more, right, as being like kind of a goofy villainess who's the butt of the joke, which a lot of women used to do back then, and you really don't have that now. So, and there's Garrett Graham, another underrated actor. I called it, Phantom of the Paradise, but this dude was in a lot of movies, man. He's a pisser. So, yeah, I gotta see Eating Raoul. I haven't seen it, but it was a comedic film. So, all right, we're gonna do a two-parter. You know what I mean? Remember, Stan Ollie, pretty much, man. When you look at the old comedies now. The guys that stand heads and tails above everybody, in my opinion, are the earliest guys. The guys doing it in the silent era, because I don't remember the Bowery Boys or Abbott and Costello or the Marx Brothers being in the silent era. Laurel and Hardy, man. Laurel and Hardy, these were the guys, man. These were hilarious. Hal Roach, right? And it's just interesting. They go over like the films that they had that were right. Most teams were a funny man and a straight man, right? When being a straight man meant that you were the serious guy, okay? That the funny guy would use as the foil to bounce the jokes off, right? The straight man was very important in the comedy act, right? In the vaudeville music hall days, right? But Laurel and Hardy could play either way, of course. Oliver Hardy is a Southerner, and Stan Laurel was from England, so. So they had one of their silent ones. I remember they used to show the silent Laurel and Hardy's on Channel 5. I remember in the morning, and it was always weird because I'm like, why are they not talking? Because obviously they went into the sound age and they did just fine. So just to wrap this up, I don't remember Habeas Corpus. I gotta look it up. Okay, but I do remember the live ghost. They actually show this. If they still show it in Channel 11 in New York and WPIX. When they show Babes in Toyland, right, around Christmas time, usually the timing of it, they need to do it like, they add one of these on to have a proper 2-hour running time. The live goes, and it's funny. Remember, this is our day off. This guy's like, you want to make some money, to basically Shanghai men on his ship, because nobody wants to go on the ship because it's a ghost ship, remember? And it's just, he's funny. So they Shanghai guys, but then they knock each other out, and they end up on the ship with these guys who are pissed with them. But this dude's no joke. Remember? He's like, and he gets mad if you say, oh, there's a ghost on this ship. He goes, oh, the next guy that says there's a ghost on the ship. I'm gonna twist his head around so he'll be walking north and looking south, right? Which is in the end what happens to these dudes. So it's freaking hilarious. You guys see it, and what's interesting to me is how dark it is. The original the script was these two guys weren't fishing on their day off. They were gonna commit suicide. Ugh. The hell. And even the way that it was done though was kind of funny. But anyway, man, these guys were funny, dude. They were great. Well, I'm trying to remember what else is. Remember the guy? He gets drunk and he freaking falls into like the flower, and he's walking around and they're like, ah, with the ghost. What was the one with the where they're in the hut and there's like a bird flying around? Not the one with the where it's the skull. That was the Three Stooges. But the one there's like a bird flying around. He's like, ah! It's just like, ah! Oh, this shit was so funny, dude. Oh man. Well, we're gonna lose in the next couple of decades. Okay, of course these men are long gone, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, enough. It's supposed to be funny. Okay, we're gonna go to the second half.